Hey, hello and welcome everybody. I think we are live, so hopefully you all can hear me okay. Everything's coming through all right. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jason Hamilton. I'm the admin of this page, and I'm also a chartered retirement planning counselor. And what we do here is talk a lot about retirement planning, because I want to help you retire with confidence. And I know there's just so much misinformation out there. You read one article, it tells you one thing. You read another article, it tells you something else. So I've helped hundreds of people here, and I want to just bring you the knowledge that you need without any of the fluff. So that's what we do here. We talk about different components of retirement. We talk about different things that may impact you or may not impact you. But really, at the end of the day, what I want to help you do is make really good decisions when it comes to your retirement, because there's just so many moving parts to getting this all right. And so I think if we break it down, talk about each thing step by step, that we can help you get together an overall retirement plan. So hopefully everybody can hear me okay. It looks like if you guys can let me know if everything's coming through, I'd appreciate it. But it looks like everything's going through smoothly, which is great, because sometimes here, I have some technical issues, but hey, I think I got them all worked out today, so that's wonderful. So it's really great to see you all here today. I really appreciate you tuning in. I think I have something very good. I think you'll really enjoy what I'm going to show you today, and I think it'll have an actual, I'm going to show you some examples, right? So I'm going to show you some actual numerical examples when we talk about the impact of when you claim Social Security. So, as a disclaimer, the post I made was about, delaying Social Security, right? And I have to always make this disclaimer, is that I know not everybody can, okay? This is not for those that just have no other choice. We have things that happen in life sometimes, whether they're physical or financial, where we just have no choice but to take Social Security the earliest we possibly can. So I'm not downplaying that at all. I'm just really speaking to the people today that may have an option, okay? And you may be thinking through, when should I take it? Should I delay? Should I take early? And so this is really for you, okay? Please don't give me a bunch of hate mail because you have no other choice. That's not my intention at all. I just want to help you really see what the impact is, and it's tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes. But sometimes you don't really know, right? Because it's not something you do on a regular basis, and that's totally okay. I do this every day, so it's just normal for me to see these type of things. So what I want to do first is sort of like jump in and show you something I think is interesting. So I want to talk about an article first, okay? So I'm going to share the screen with you here in just a moment and share with you an article that one of my friends sent me, okay? He's another friend that is in the, the retirement planning space, and, we want to make sure, like, we're doing the right thing for our clients, right, at the end of the day. So let me add myself, if I can see myself in the corner here. Okay, great. So this article was actually from a couple years ago, I guess, but he sent it over to me, and I had never seen it before. So I know I talked to you guys here a lot about, we're going to see people living a lot longer, okay? Longevity risk, okay? So the idea that you could outlive your money is going to become more and more real. And I know we all have friends that passed away early, okay? People that passed away early, early and late 50s, early and late 60s, early and late 70s. That happens, okay? I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But right now, the average age for men for life expectancy is about 84, and the average age for women is about 86. So what that means is 50% of people are going to live longer. Are going to live longer than the average ages, right? Because that's the average. So there's a good chance you could be living into your 90s or even past 100. So this article was just crazy to me. And I was like really blown away, because this is what, when you listen to listen to a lot of these futurists, a lot of these folks that really talk about what's coming with medical technology. And so they say we're going to see it to be very common here that people that are alive today are going to be living until 110, 120, or even 130 on a regular basis. So this article that was sent over, it just really struck me. I was very surprised that this said the man who claimed to be the oldest person ever, he died at the age of 146. Okay, so I guess there were some issues with a little bit of verification. There was nothing that said this wasn't true, but maybe back then the records weren't quite as good. But 146 years old, even if he was 140 or 135 or whatever that number is, that's pretty crazy, right? That's pretty crazy that there's people that are living this long. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because when we're talking about Social Security, I think sometimes folks think about it on a too short of a term, that they're just thinking about today, right? And only about today. And I know you want your money. I know you want the your income from the government. But I want to ask you to just be patient a little bit here so I can show you something, because Social Security is great to get your money, but it's also a wonderful tool to use so that you can help hedge against that risk of running out of money. So I'm going to jump over to this article here and show you a little bit here. And this is just from the SSA.gov, so you can just Google this if you wanted to find it. So what I wanted to show you, actually maybe it's this one first. Yeah, let me show you this one first, okay? This is one I wanted to show you first. And I want to talk about how your Social Security benefit is reduced by taking it early, okay? So it's not only your benefit, unless you're single, okay? If you're single, totally, it's all about your benefit. But we also have to think about the spousal benefit if you are a married couple. And we have to remember that once one of you passes away, the person left behind is going to get whatever that larger benefit was. They're not going to get that 50% spousal benefit or whatever spousal benefit that they had before. So in this case here, when you do take your Social Security, and I think this assumes full retirement age is, let's see here, let me just make sure that it is 66. Okay, so this is full retirement age of 66. So this is for people born from 1948 to 1964. So yours might be a little bit later. Again, this is just an example, okay? So if your full retirement age was 66 and you drew Social Security at 62, your primary benefit would be reduced to about 75% of what it would be at full retirement age, okay? So that's 25% off the top right there. So not only that, but the spousal benefit would only be 35%, of what it was supposed to be. Or I shouldn't say, normally it'd be 50%, it'd be reduced down an additional 15, so down to 35. So this is a pretty big cut. If you had 25 plus 15, that's 40%. That's 40% less money right there that you would receive if both you and your spouse drew at 62. So that's a pretty big cut, in the scheme of things. And as you can see here, every month you delay Social Security, you do get a little bit of an increase. So I know sometimes we think about, can either only take it maybe 62 early as possible or full retirement age or 70, okay? That's not the case. I mean, those are typical examples we use, and I am going to use those for examples today just because it's easy. But you actually get a little bit more benefit every single month that you delay. I don't remember the formula offhand, but I believe it's like 5/9 of 1% per month or something like that. It's some formula you can look up. But if you look at it here, it's okay. It's about 0.4% higher. So it may not seem like a lot, but if you go from 75% to 62, and then let's say you delayed to 63, that's 5% more you're going to get, right? So you only lose 20% at that point. And then your spousal benefits at 37.5 out of 50. And then again, going to 64, here, then you're going to give out 86.7 of the benefit you'd get at full retirement age, and so on and so on, okay? So all the way until, in this case, again, this would be for folks that have the full retirement age of 66, which, like I said, is 1954 and before. So if you're after that, it's going to be 66 in a few months. And then if you are after 1960 or later, it is 67, okay? So that's a pretty big cut, right? Just from 62 to 66. So we're talking 25% of the overall there, plus another 15% of this money here, okay? And then after full retirement age, you get an additional benefit, right? So after full retirement age, it's 8% per year. And as you can see here, it goes up, this is actually kind of a lot per month if you think about it. By delaying 3 months, it's an additional 2%. So this is going up here. So from 66 to 67, you would get an additional 8%. And from 67 to 68, it'd be 116, so an additional 16%. So if you did delay until 70, you would get an additional 32% more than you would if you drew at full retirement age. So if you take this 32% plus the 25 that you're giving up here, going from 62 to 70, and again, I'm not saying you need to do this, I'm just giving you an example. 32 plus 25 is 55%, right? So that's 55% more guaranteed income for the rest of your life, right? And I know there's some articles out there that are talking about Social Security being reduced. I think it's prudent to plan for it, right? And so when I do a financial plan for clients, I do include a stress test, right? Well, what happens if their Social Security gets reduced by 20 or 25%? We're going to run that test and see how your retirement plan plays out. But I really have a hard time finding that they're going to actually reduce it by that much. I just think it would cause so much chaos. And to be honest, look at the biggest voting block, right? It's the seniors. So I just don't see that really happening. They can either delay Social Security full retirement age for a couple of years for younger folks like myself. They can add, I think it's 1.7% more on our taxes to make up for it. And so there's multiple different ways they can go about it. I'm pretty sure they're going to fix it, but again, we can't predict the future. So I think it's good to plan for the worst, but at the same time, really considering, what you're going to need for retirement and then using Social Security to cover a portion of that. I think that's really the right way that I want you to look at it. So here's something I want to go over with you, which is, a couple scenarios, okay? So I have a couple scenarios for you here that I'm going to demonstrate for you, like what this really means in dollars, because we talked about percentages there. So I'm going to use a couple examples with actual dollars and then using the average inflation increases you get with Social Security, and then average, or what you'd get for delaying and things like that. And then not only the dollar amounts, but I want to talk to you about retirement confidence percentage, okay? So this is a big thing that I don't think people really do, especially when they're doing their plan on their own, is how much the delaying the benefit can actually impact your retirement confidence. So, going closer to 100% of confidence of retirement, right? So I'm going to show you this really quickly, but I do have to go over my disclosure here, okay? So I have to let you know that this is not meant to be applied to your situation. This is not tax, legal, or accounting advice. It is just an example for you, but it might be something close to what you have, so hopefully you can relate to it. But I do have to put a disclaimer that this is no guarantees here of any sort, okay? So let's talk about this first scenario. So the first scenario is going to be a married couple. And so this is something that this actually happens a lot, right? People, they want to retire now. This couple is 62 years old. They want to retire right now. And so they'll come schedule an appointment with Jason and say, hey, we want to retire right now. Can we do it, right? So sometimes, that's fine. But I like to get things a little bit early in case we do need to make adjustments, right? If we can. But this is common, right? We want to retire. We want to make sure we can do it. We've done as much as we can on their own, and we want to get professional help. I get this all the time. So in this case, the estimated benefit of full retirement age is going to be $2,700 for the spouse number one and $2,000 for spouse number two. So in this case, we had two spouses that worked, okay? Because obviously the $2,000 is higher than 50% of this spousal benefit. So it is, we have two spouses that worked. And so this is interesting when it comes to timing the benefits, because sometimes it makes sense to take one early and one later. But this is what our scenario is for today, okay? And then the income need for this couple is $5,000 a month, okay? So they need $5,000 a month just to cover, their base expenses. And they have about $726,244 in retirement assets saved. So if they were to wait until full retirement age, obviously we're going to get closer to this, but they don't want to, so we're going to reduce this by 25% if we don't wait. So we're going to talk about this scenario here. I believe I have it up right here on this one. Let me just double check that to make sure I have the proper case here and I don't mess this up, because that would not be good. Yeah, this looks like the right one. Okay. All right, so in this case, when I plug this client scenario in, based on what they want to do, okay, so they want to retire at 62, they want to draw Social Security right away at 62, take a reduced benefit, and then just use their assets to make up the difference, okay? So when I run their plan with this scenario, they actually only have a 46% probability of success. So this is actually not good, okay? If I see someone with a 46 probability of success, this is not good. I will not recommend that they can retire. There are some things in here, like we do plan for needing some long-term care on the last year or two of retirement. So I do put that in here, so it's a little conservative in that sense. But, at 46%, I would not recommend that they retire. At the end of the day, folks are going to do what they want to do, but generally, they do take my recommendations. So here's what happens with this particular couple. Is they take their benefit early, and so they need to use more assets to cover themselves for retirement. So throughout the overall retirement period, their assets run out by the end, okay? And so there's some scenarios where it can be okay, but it's not a super, super confident number. And in all honesty, I wouldn't want you to retire unless you were super, super confident, right? I think that's really important. We want to be very confident in this type of stuff. So this is what it looks like as far as their income. Okay, so for every client we do a retirement income plan, and this is a what this particular scenario would look like if they retired at 62 and drew Social Security right away. So what happened is, if you can see this, I hope, the purple number here, you can see is Social Security, okay? So this purple numbers are Social Security. So if they drew at 63, it looks like or 62, it looks like they'd have a expected benefit of $42,300 per year. And then obviously that goes up with inflation over time, okay? So their need is $60,000 per year, right? The first year. So that's going to go up each year as well. So to meet their need, they're actually going to need to have a savings withdrawal of $29,379, because you have to remember this. I know this is more than $60,000, but there's taxes, right? So this is coming from their IRA or their 401k. So there's taxes we have to pay for. So their net, the gross they need to withdraw is about $29,379 to make up the difference. So here every year it's only going to go up, right? So it's going to be, the second year is $29,923. By the third year is $30,000, and then say by 75. They're going to need to be drawing $47,737 to cover their income need. So again, that's sort of a big withdrawal in a sense, when you have $700,000 or so, not saying you can't do it, but this is a lot of risk. This is a high risk scenario when it comes to planning for retirement. So what can we do, right? So some of the things I'll look at is, well, what would happen if we delayed their Social Security? And how would that play out for the long term? So in this case, I have an example here just to make it easy, that all of the variables stay the same. Okay, all the spending they want stays the same. Everything else is the same, except we delay their Social Security. So they're still retiring at 62 in this case, okay? So they're still retiring at 62, but they're going to draw more on assets early on. But then if they delay this to full retirement age, now their Social Security is going to be a bigger number. And so that's going to cover more of their income need at that point. So then at, say, in this case, 66 or whatever, 66 and beyond, or 67 and beyond, they are no longer going to need to draw as much from their assets because they have an income floor which is higher. So let me show you what this looks like. So if we go to our income plan here, you can see here that early on, we are going to draw more from the assets, okay? So we're going to need to cover these assets between, 62 and 66 in this case. But once we hit 66, we now have $60,000, right? Almost $61,000 coming in just from Social Security. So that's a big jump from what we were seeing previously at 66, okay? So when we put in our savings withdrawal, let me take off Social Security. So for the first 3 years, they're going to need to draw 73, 74, and 76. But once they hit Social Security at 66, they now only need $16,000 from their assets, okay? So that's a huge difference from $45,000 from your assets. And what that really does is it takes a lot of risk. It takes a lot of risk off of what you need to generate from your portfolio. And so that does a couple things. One, it can allow you to spend more on goals, things you want to do, vacations, giving, taking care of grandchildren, buying fancier things, doing better trips, because you have more of your income covered, and all you really need to cover from your retirement accounts is starting at 66, $16,000. So, I want to make sure this all makes sense. So if you guys can let me know if this makes sense and we're clear, because I want to do another example, but I want to make sure that we're totally clear on this. So if you can let me know if there's any non-clarity, then ask a question and I will take a look at it and I'll answer that for you. So I think it should be clear. I'm trying to take this step by step, but if it's not, then just let me know. Okay. So with these folks, as you can see, earlier withdrawal, there's going to be a little more money coming out the first few years, but then now forever, all the way through here, this savings withdrawal is going to be a lot lower, right? So it's going to be a lot lower. So this is why the probability goes up to 75%, okay? Not only that, the assets they're expected to end up with are a lot higher as well, okay? So let me go back to show you this one more time. Well, actually, I could show you here, I guess. That would have been just fine because I have my original plan there. Let me let my system reset and do it side by side. Okay, so in this case, if they would have drawn at 62, their likelihood of having assets at the end is very low. They're probably going to run out of money, okay? So they may have Social Security that they have coming in, but other assets are not going to be there. So 46%, not great. I would not recommend that at all. But the same couple with the same assets, by making this one change, has now gone up to 75%. And if I see 75%, I feel pretty comfortable, okay? I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not 100, but 75%, I feel very, pretty darn confident about saying, yes, if you want to retire now, you can. If we delayed it a year, it might be better. But if you wanted to retire today and do this plan, you would be expected to have about $400,000 at the end of your plan. This is even after paying for some long-term care. So, this gives you a little more flexibility, again, to spend more, to enjoy life a little bit, and really, do the fun things that you want to do. But I know some people don't want to spend their own money, so that's the big difference, is you have to cover yourself for a couple years, okay? All right, so it looks like that makes sense. I'm getting a lot of comments there. Everything's making sense. So now I want to show you in the same case, okay? Same exact case, retiring 62, same amount of assets, nothing else is changing. We're going to delay till 70, okay? And I'm not saying you have to do this. I am just using this as an example, okay? So here, if we delay till 70, now, even though we have to cover our expenses for an additional 2 or 3 or 4 years, our retirement confidence still goes up to 89%, and we're expected to end with even more assets, right? So this is what people don't realize sometimes, is they think that, I want to get my money because I might pass away early, and then I won't get my money from the government. But if you delay and you don't need as much coming out of your portfolio, you actually sometimes can end up with more money because your draw is not as big that you have to cover for yourself. So we can go up to 89% by delaying until 70. So let's jump over here to the income section as well. So as you can see here, we are going to cover again, we're going to cover those early years, 70,000 here. But once we hit 70, now from Social Security alone, let me make this bigger. From Social Security alone, we have about 88,500 coming in. Russell asks, is healthcare figured into this? Yes. Healthcare is figured into this. We're using about an average about $5,400 a year per person for healthcare. So about $11,000 expense per year for healthcare starting from the beginning of retirement, and that gets inflated at 5%. So that's what we're using here. So definitely on the conservative side, I think. So to answer your question, yes. So, but as you can see here at 70, by delaying here, we are going to have 88,500 coming in, 90, and so on, right? So if we were to delay fully till 70, now there's really very minimal need. I mean, very, very minimal need to cover, expenses all throughout the rest of retirement. So this puts us in a really good position here, not only to either end up with more money, but if you're going to have this very, very strong probability, then what we can do here is actually crank up our spending, right? We can increase our spending and our goals and the vacations and the fun things you want to do, because we know once you hit 70, you're going to have Social Security to come in and take care of most of what you need. So this will allow you to spend more from your assets and spend in a controlled way, right? And if you want to do a big trip early on and spend $20,000 or $30,000 or something like that, you can do that, versus with Social Security, it's going to trickle in at $1,600 a month or $2,000 a month, whatever it is. It takes a long time to save that money up. So you can use your assets right away for that. So I really hope that that you can see the difference here. So let me show you one more thing here. These two graphs. So like this dark green is if you were to delay Social Security. The kind of light sea green is taking Social Security early. And this is how your assets sort of play out. So let's say you start in both scenarios with 726,244. As you can see, the dark green is going to go down, okay? So by 70 in this case, we're expected to we'll be down to about 436,791 in liquid assets, whereas if you would have taken Social Security, you would have higher assets there because you wouldn't have been drawing so early. But now you can see this dark blue line starts really increasing because now we don't need this money anymore, so we can leave it to invest. And so right here, we're going to hit a crossover point, and now we're going to have all this money left over, versus without it would be dropping off. So we're expected to have about $581,000 more at the end of our plan here by delaying. Okay, so I hope this makes sense, and I hope it is clear in this case. So Bob asked, let me drag this over here. Let me see if this will come up. See if Bob's comment will come up here. It's not doing. Okay, there we go. So Bob asks, what about when benefits get reduced around 2035 due to insolvency? So Bob, it's the Social Security is not insolvent. So let me make that clear, number one. And it's if they get reduced. There's no guarantee. That's if nothing changes, Bob. If we raise taxes by about 1.7% to 2%, or delay full retirement age, there's many ways to fix this problem. It's not going to be insolvent. So even if we did nothing, the income coming in from people just paying into it will still cover about 80% of what you're expected to get today. So, insolvent means it goes to zero, and that's just not the case at all. So I hope that answers that particular question. Okay, so I want to show you another case here for a single person, okay? So this single person in this case is currently 59, and they would like to retire at 65, okay? So I think there's probably a lot of people in this group, right? And their desired retirement goal date is 65, and their estimated Social Security benefit at full retirement age is $2,000. Oh, you know what? Let me pause this, guys. I'm sorry. Let me go back to this case real quick. I want to show you something here. The difference, okay? So this client was originally thinking about taking it 62, and we have them mapped out to living until 90, okay? So if they were to delay from 62 to full retirement age at 66 in this case, they would, let me compare, they would have an additional $330,000 coming in from Social Security, okay? This is big numbers. So you're missing out an additional $330,000 coming from Social Security. If they were to wait until age 70, they would have an additional $700,000 that would be coming from Social Security. So when people tell me I want to get my money and I want to take it at 62 and I want to get what I'm going to get, this is what you're giving up potentially in this scenario, right? You could be giving up, again, this is estimated, so this may not be totally right, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars regardless. Even if it was $500,000, this is the estimated based on historical increases, inflation adjustments, and living until 90, that you'd be giving up $700,000 if you were to take it at 62 versus 70. So that is pretty amazing if you ask me, okay? So now let me go back to this scenario where the client is 60, or they're 59 currently, and their desired retirement goal is 65, so they want to retire in 6 years. Their benefit at full retirement age is going to be $2,000, and they need $3,000 a month for their income need. So this is not including their housing expense, by the way. This is just what they need to cover just their normal living expenses, because that's taken care of somewhere else. And they have $300,000 of retirement assets, okay? So that's the second scenario. Okay, so in this case, if this is the current plan, if they were to draw at 65, because in this case they want to draw at 65, okay? So if they were to draw at 65, they would only have about a 58% chance of a probability of success. So again, not zero, and it's better than what it was before, but in reality, 58 is not good. I would not say, yes, you should retire at 65 and take your Social Security if you wanted to do that, okay? So what we did here, in this case, is delayed their Social Security from 65 until 70, and by delaying until 70, we now are up at over 70% of a probability of success. So 70% or higher is pretty good. So that's a lot better than 58. So just by delaying a few years, again, using assets, we are going to have this single person. With a single person, obviously there's only one benefit, so it's not as big of an impact, but it's still a pretty significant impact by delaying and giving them, and in this case, they're only going to be playing until 85, right? So if we bump this up to 90, that's not good. So these are all things that need to be taken into consideration, right? So if we had this particular person, they live till 90, they're going to be in trouble even if they delay. So if they live till 90 and they only take it here, that's going to be much worse. They're definitely going to run out of money, okay? So these are all things that are just so important to really think through. But from a Social Security perspective, by delaying from 65 until 70, they are going to get about $100,000 more. So it's almost 6 figures worth of money. So this is $100,000 more of retirement income for a single person which is a big chunk of money. You know, it's not small potatoes here. Okay, this is real money. And even if they just delayed it 2 years until full retirement age, they would have an additional $55,000 coming in from Social Security. So again, I hope this was helpful for you. I know a lot of people just want to take their Social Security early, and if that's you and you're happy to do that, that's totally fine. Okay, that's up to you. But what I want you to be considering is that what if your retirement plan doesn't quite map out the way you want it to map out? So this is why I say Social Security is one piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole potato, okay? That's not the whole pie. It's one slice of the pie. So when you look at the different aspects of your retirement plan, when you look at when you're going to take Social Security, when you're going to retire, what are you going to do for healthcare, what are you going to do for the spending that you want to have, you know, how are you going to time things like pensions and these other type of things, how much can you withdraw from your accounts, and in what order. These are all things that come in. So I just want to show you this example about Social Security today. I hope they helped you out, and I want you to see that timing Social Security is a big part of your retirement puzzle, and by taking it at the wrong time, it can really reduce your chances of success for a very, very confident retirement. And I want you to be as confident as possible. It's hard to get to 100%, but if we can get you to, you know, like we had before, from 50 to 80, I think that is a wonderful thing. And that brings you a lot of peace of mind, and it lets you know what you need to do so that you can retire with confidence. So hopefully this helped you out today. That's all I have for you today. I'm going to check for questions, but I want to let you know that if you need help with your retirement plan and you want to discuss on a complimentary call with me personally, what are the things that you should be thinking about? What are the things you should be doing? And what steps should you take to retire with confidence? I'd love to chat with you. I have some limited times available here, but you can go to keepitsimplefinancial.com/talk, and that'll go right to my calendar page where you can schedule an appointment with me, okay? So I'm going to leave this up while I take some questions here and take a look. Okay, so let's take a look. So Rob asked, does this include RMDs? Yeah, I mean, RMDs are included in this. So RMDs are part of the income strategy. So yes, to answer your question, yes, RMDs are included in this, Rob. It's an easy one. So Don asked, how does this play out when one of the two passes away? Really good question, right? So maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do a scenario on that. Let me see if I can map this out. Give me 1 second and I will map this out so we can see exactly what would happen if one of the two passed away. I don't know if I can do it on the spot, Don, so I'm going to try. But hopefully I can do something that would be helpful. So let's say this one goes to, I don't know, let's say they pass away at 75. And let's see how this plays out. Hopefully, I'm doing things on the spot here. I never like doing things on the spot, but you know what? That is, you know, always a good thing that we can try different things. Yeah, sorry, Don, it's not really doing what I want it to do. So I'll have to do that in another session. So sorry, I can't do that on the spot. It's going to take me a few more minutes than it's going to take here. But so Don, to answer your question though, how would it play out? Then you're going to lose that spousal benefit. So whoever has the spousal benefit or the smaller benefit, that one goes away. That's another reason to delay at least one of the benefits, because the larger benefit is what stays behind with that spouse that is left behind. So if you take both early, then you're going to only get that small benefit. If you leave one at least till later, that will leave that one behind. So Russell asks, is healthcare figured into this? Yes, Russell, healthcare is figured into this. We already answered that question. Rick says, I took mine at 65 with no regrets. One never knows how long he has, so why not take it? I get what you're saying, Rick, and I know a lot of people that think about it like this, but I wanted to show you an example that the average person is going to live to 84 to 86, right? So if you live that long, you're going to cross your break even and you are going to come out ahead. If you don't, then you know what? You took it early. But at least you wait until 65. It's better than taking it at 62, so that's better than nothing. And if you can take it at 62 and not worry about retirement, that's okay too. I just want you to look at the overall scenario on this, okay? Let's see. So this question from Linda is, do these scenarios take into consideration increase in interest in your savings account if you take Social Security at 62 and require less money in those early years? Also make sure all factors are compared. I do understand the significance in waiting. Well, in a sense, yes, because you're going to get an increase in inflation for Social Security, and you might get 2% in your account, but the inflation of Social Security is higher. So it's generally 2.6 or so, something like that. So all cash and bank accounts does get a 2% rate at this point in the software that I use. So yes, that would be considered. Let's see here. We got, so Brenda asks, I want to retire at 62 and my husband is already 66 and collecting Social Security. Good or bad idea? Brenda, honestly, I'd have to look at the whole scenario because as you can see, just one single variable, like delaying Social Security can totally change around your retirement confidence, right? So I want to know the whole scenario before I can answer that, but just to make sure you didn't feel ignored, I wanted to pull that one up. Okay, so Deb has a good question here. So what about wife filing at 62 and still working part-time and husband working until full retirement age? So you have to remember that as of this year, if you file at 62, you have an earnings limit of $17,640. So if you earn over that, then you are going to get penalized and you're going to get your benefit reduced. You will get it back later, but you're going to get it reduced in this particular year. Plus, you have to remember that there's something called provisional income, okay? So provisional income limits are, let me pull this up if I can get it handy here. So what that means is you're going to get taxed on your Social Security, okay? So I have my cheat sheet here. I don't have this memorized. I don't memorize all this stuff, guys, but I know where to get the answers, okay? So if you're single and once you hit over $25,000 of income household, up to 50% of your Social Security is going to be taxed. So not only are you going to have to worry about getting it reduced, you're going to also have to pay some tax on that potentially if both spouses are working. And then if you are a married couple, it's over $32,000. So over $32,000 to $44,000, up to 50% of your Social Security can be taxed. And then if you're making over $44,000 as a couple, up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed. So Deb, if you take it early, your husband's working and you're making part-time income, I would guess that you're going to make over $44,000. So then you're going to be facing up to 85% of your Social Security being taxed. So that may not be good, right? So you really want to think about that and see how it's going to play out from a tax planning scenario for that case. Okay. Is this accounting for market drops? So Dick asks, is this accounting for market drops on their investment? Yes. Yes, it is. This plays out. When I showed you the ending asset numbers, that's what they consider a Monte Carlo, and that's where you run 1,000 different scenarios of every different market scenario, and that's where they're expected to end up somewhere in that range. So it does account for that, Dick, yes. But just so you know, when I'm working with retirees, we do what's called retirement income planning, so that what we do is we put income in certain places, so in reality, we're going to make sure you have 2 or 3 or 4 years or whatever it is of guaranteed income so that you don't have to worry about the market dropping. And, even in 2007, the market came back in about 2 years to where it was before. So if you have, if we could put away 2 or 3 years of income and we know exactly where our money's coming from and the market's going to come back by that point, hopefully, right? There's no guarantees, obviously, but we can be conservative and do 3 or 4 years. Then again, this scenario, everything I showed you plays out, no problem. Not too worried about there. So this is a good question. Ellen asks, is there any scenario where it is beneficial to take Social Security earlier? Yeah, Ellen, I think if you have any sort of health scares, right? So this is what I tell my clients if we're doing a retirement plan and maybe they're like late 50s, early 60s or something like that. And I usually put a note in there that if we're going to delay till 70 for one of the benefits, for example, let's say we have a couple and we're going to take one earlier and one at 70. I usually put a note to say, revisit your health, right? Revisit your health at full retirement age, because if you start, showing signs that you may experience ill health, then I definitely think taking earlier is going to make sense. But, if you're healthy, and you're already in your early 60s, there's a good chance you're going to be healthy at least through 70. I mean, who knows? But if there's health scares, then I would definitely consider taking it earlier to do that. Let's see here. So Joan asked a good question here. So Joan asks, is it true if I took my Social Security, do I have 1 year to change my mind as long as I return the money? Yeah, you have a one shot at this, Joan. So if you want to take your Social Security, within the first 12 months, you can pay everything back and then go delay again. So yes, the answer is yes to that. This is a good one from Rob. Rob, this is a common misconception, sir. I thought the SS formula pays the same regardless of when you take it. No, that's absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. That is false information. And generally when you hear this, you're hearing it from an advisor that wants to manage your assets, okay? You're probably hearing it from somebody that does not want you to spend down your assets. Because if they operate on an assets under management model, the more you spend down, the less they're going to get paid, right? And so that's where there's a conflict. Even if they may be fee only, there is a conflict there with the assets under management model. So that does lead to something that may not be necessarily the best for you, but can play out for them. So, again, this is why I like the flat fee model. We use that with a lot of clients. We just pay a fee for advice, retainer, plan, whatever it may be, because then there's no incentive. It doesn't really matter. Like if you spend your money down, the pay is the same for me as an advisor. So good question, though. Really, really good question. All right, I think this is my last question. We're going to wrap up today. So can an older spouse collect on a younger spouse who has a smaller benefit while they both continue to work? You can't really collect on someone else's benefit. I mean, there's a file and suspend if you were born before January 1st, 1954, I think it is. But you would pull your own benefit, right? So let's say hopefully I say your name right, Natyal. Let's say Natyal, you are 62 and your husband is 67, and you both want to continue working. And let's say you have your own benefit. Let's totally separate. And let's say it was $1,000 a month, for example. You wanted to pull that benefit at 62 and take that $1,000 a month. And then let's say your husband's benefit was going to be $3,000, so that by the time he took his, you get a spousal of $1,500, which would be higher than your $1,000. You would actually flip over to that spousal benefit. So that could be a great idea. That could be a great way. And that's where Social Security timing comes into play. And I think that should be something you really look at when it comes to your retirement planning situation. So I think that's a good question. Brenda asked, how can we do one-on-one or contact a financial planner? Brenda, my information is right down below. So if you look at this, you get right there. You can schedule an appointment with me and we can discuss this. I am a fee-only financial planner if you want help with this. And we can do one-on-one, that's for sure. Okay. So Kathy's asking me this question, but this is a mess, Kathy. This is a mess. This is no way I can answer this right here. But I still want to be fair and not act like I ignored your question. But, here's a good one. My husband is 63 and had a potential with CalPERS. He has WEP, so that's called windfall elimination provision. Can he collect half of mine and avoid the WEP in this? I use software for this stuff, okay? To be honest with you, I have to run this scenario. I have software that can answer this question for you. That's not a problem, but I can't just do this offhand. I know a lot of the rules, but I don't know in this level of detail because I have to look at what his benefit's going to be, what his reduction's expected to be, and then we would figure out the best overall scenario based on your situation, okay? So, hey guys, that's it for today. I want to say I appreciate you watching. I really hope this was beneficial for you. I want to do the best I can to give you really good knowledge because I really do want you to retire with confidence. It's so important to me because if you guys don't know, the reason I do this is because my mother got bad advice back when she was 55. That's why I learned this all, because I wanted to help her, and that seems to be just like my clients. I seem to attract clients that are very similar, right around my parents' age, that want to retire with confidence. And, I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here and watching this. And other than that, you have a great day. If you need anything at all, leave me a comment below if you're watching this later, or just go ahead and ask a question on the page or in the group, and I'll be happy to chime in the best I can. Other than that, have a good one, guys. Enjoy your weekend. I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye now.